Part 20. Heartbreaking Aftermath. As I was in Harry's tight embrace, crying my eyes out, I felt like time was frozen. I truly can't breathe or think clearly. I didn't think Severus's death would hit this hard. It's like I'm losing Dad all over again. I can't wrap my head around the fact that Severus is dead. Harry let go of me, but I watched as he tried to calm me down and wipe away my tears. I was sobbing so hard I didn't notice I was almost hyperventilating. Paige, it's okay. We're here, Ron said. He meant so much to me, you guys. I know he did, Paige. We know he did, Harry muttered. Take some deep breaths, Paige, Hermione stated as she laid a hand on my back. After I calmed down a bit, Harry and Hermione got me to stand so we could leave. A few seconds later, Ron shouted from outside, "Something's happening outside." I promise once things calm down a little, we can take care of our flask and look at them, to be able to talk and other things, but for now, Paige, we should keep moving, Harry stated. I nodded as I took a deep breath and looked at Harry as Hermione followed behind me by the doorway. Losing Severus immediately brought back memories of the aftermath of when Dad died. I noticed that Hermione grabbed my arm for comfort. We noticed the signal in the sky. Out of nowhere, we heard Voldemort as I stared at Severus's lifeless body. You have fought valiantly, but in vain. I do not wish this. Every drop of magical blood spilt is a terrible waste. I, therefore, command my forces to retreat. Treat your injured. Harry Potter, I speak now directly to you. Ron, Hermione, and I looked at Harry as we listened. On this night, you've allowed your friends to die for you rather than face me yourself. There's no greater dishonor. Join me in the Forbidden Forest and confront your fate. Should you do so, I give my word that no other life will be lost on this night. If you haven't give up at the end of that time, then I shall punish every last man, woman, and child who tries to conceal you from me. You have 1 hour. I couldn't speak as we stared at each other, and my heart wrenched. I watched Harry as he tightly held the flask, looked at me, then at Severus's body. We should go and check on everyone in the castle, Hermione stated, looking at us. I walked back inside the boathouse, over to Severus's body, and stared down at him for a brief moment. I bent down and placed a kiss upon his warm but firm lips, one last time. I placed a hand on his cheek, and it still felt warm. I don't know if you can hear me, Severus, but maybe spiritually you can. Thank you for giving me the years I got to spend with you. Thank you for watching over me since I was little, trying to care for me, and eventually falling in love with me. Just for giving me everything I could ever ask for. Please give Dad and Mom a tight hug from me. Thank you for allowing me to get to know you. I'll have love for you no matter what, Severus Snape. Always. Goodbye, my love. I took a shaky deep breath as I leaned and placed a kiss on his forehead. Knowing Harry was behind me, Ron and Hermione were nearby and heard what I said. I guess they didn't realize till now how special my relationship was with Severus. A lot has happened since I last saw them, but I guess in time they'll know everything. I felt a couple of tears fall down my cheeks as Harry grabbed my shoulder. We need to get going, Paige, Harry muttered. I turned around and glanced at him with a heartbreaking look in my eyes. With me crouched on the ground, he helped me up and walked me out of the boathouse. As we walked back to the castle, I couldn't help but to still shed a few tears. My heart was breaking so badly. I felt so lost I couldn't even think. Now, Harry will have to go soon and face Voldemort out there in the forest by himself. I felt Harry intertwine his hand with mine and squeeze it for comfort as I held his grip just as tight. You going to be okay, Paige? Ron asked me. I sighed and responded, It's going to take quite some time, honestly, Ron. I mean, this year has been rough enough as it is, plus coming to terms with Dad dying. Doubt felt that something like this was going to go wrong because of him knowing what Voldemort what it could do. But I didn't think that it would have come to this. Severus dying like that. I know we may not understand everything that's going on or what has happened, but I'm so sorry, Paige, Hermione said. I'm sorry I wasn't around for you, Harry added. I softly smiled but said, You guys have been out risking your lives for the rest of us and to defeat Voldemort. The son of a bitch is responsible for killing everyone I've come to love. He needs to be dealt with and be killed. I couldn't agree more, Paige, Harry responded. We sighed as we made it to the entrance, and Ron opened the doors. Where is everyone? Hermione asked, looking around. Great Hall, maybe? I questioned. We walked to see everyone in the Great Hall, except it looked nothing like the same. It was destroyed. Tables were along the sides, and in the middle lay all the people who didn't make it. I noticed Harry trembling from taking it in as I stood beside him, letting him know I walked this with him. Ron and Hermione walked ahead as they stopped momentarily, waiting for us to see the sight. In front of me and Harry were the bodies of Remus and Tonks side by side. Pure sadness took over as we held hands, but right in front of us was the Weasley family, all looking pale, distraught, and heartbroken. I held my breath as George was kneeling on the ground next to Fred. Oh my God, I whispered. Tears fell from my eyes as Ron immediately went beside George, breaking down in tears. Poor things. Molly and Arthur looked teary-eyed at me as I muttered, I'm so sorry. Thank you, dear, Mrs. Weasley managed to respond. Hermione stood next to Molly and Arthur as I stayed next to Harry, all of us taking the moment in. Without realizing it, Harry started to back away and I followed along behind him. I think he's ready for us to see what holds in our file/flags. Along the way back to Dad's office, it was so hard to take in all of the death that was surrounding us right now. I know I'm a Dumbledore, but it's so tough to stay as strong as Dad would have liked me to be. I swear I would like to bloody kill Voldemort myself if I could. Everyone around me has died under the hands of his work, even my first lover. Severus Snape may have been a teacher and a staff member here for many years, and he seemed cold and scary most of the time to some. To me, his mysteriousness is what drew me to him, and an unexpected connection formed over time. It turned out to be a small, beautiful, and magical love between us. We were a student and teacher, but we made it work, and Dad approved it too. He made me hate and love him at the same time. Severus was the most bravest man I've ever known. I mean, the man was my protector, who watched me grow up into the young woman I'm becoming. He may have done and said things that hurt me, but in the end, I became drawn to him and wanted more. I wanted more of him around and not feel so alone. Until he was killed, Severus made sure that I was safe, and being with Harry, he knew I would be. Pulling away from my thoughts, Harry asked, Are you okay, Paige? I know we haven't had a chance to talk much, but... No, Harry, don't worry, it's all right. I mean, I would say yes, I'm okay and managing, but I can't at the moment. I don't think either of us can say we're fine, even if you try to say otherwise. I mean, I've been slowly getting over Dad's death this year, but Christmas was tough. But losing Severus like that unexpectedly hit me so hard, and it feels like I lost Dad all over again. I'm thinking a lot, that's all. We've lost so much already, and it's because of me. I know what you mean, Paige, he responded and looked at me. Harry, it's not because of you. It's because of you that he's able to be defeated. You're risking your life for all of us. I didn't know what else to say as I got out the vial of tears from my pocket, which was with the picture of my parents of me. Harry and I walked into Dad's office as he got things ready for us to see what memories held for us. I smiled softly, looking around the room. Even though it was neat like it always was, some of Dad's personal things were gone. Earlier this year, Harry, I asked Severus to put some of Dad's things in me and Dad's private home. Severus must have eventually done it because some of stuff is gone. Severus must have known I wouldn't want anything precious to me destroyed by all of this that happened. Harry smiled softly in response as he looked at me while holding the flask in his hands. Do you want to go first, Paige? That is, if you're ready to see yours. I know how tough it'll be for you. Yeah, I can do it first, Harry. I don't mind. I'll have my crying moment if needed while you see yours. I'll be fine. Tell each other the details of what we see? Yeah, I'll tell you mine and you tell me yours. We nodded our heads as I sighed and poured in Severus's tears, sticking my head in. Stay tuned as we still have a lot more of this story to cover.